G'day guys, Josh here, and I've got welcome to Joshin-Strike, another Joshin-Strike podcast. So the guys listening on Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. How many more social media outlets do we have, Shrubby? Do you know any more?
You don't run on TikTok, do you?
TikTok, maybe, yeah. TikTok, Tumblr too.
Or maybe.
Do we go Tumblr? Go Reddit?
Oh, yeah, maybe Snapchat stories.
Maybe Snapchat. Yeah. Anyways, I got Shrubby on here, the CEO of the Bardolphs previously. And you've been in a large range of different teams, haven't you?
I wouldn't say a range of different teams. I say mostly under the umbrella of the Bardolphs, but I've been around the block, yeah.
So when did you get into the CS2 or CSGO or CS 1.6 scene?
I'm not that old, not CS 1.6. I'm actually fairly not new, but like I think around 2017. I think like around the Atlanta Major, the E-League Atlanta Major. I think I first got into CS.
Was that the infamous Cloud9 or?
No, it wasn't the Cloud9. It was I think it was either Astralis or Virtus Pro.
Okay, the plow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So overall, how's your journey in CS2 been so far? Because you've gone from being a player to being a manager. How was it being a player, first of all?
In CS2, like the start of CS2 and the journey from
CSGO, CS2, yeah. Because I think you played Django as well.
Yeah. I played Go. It's been rocky. I've never been, the best player as some people would say. So I've kind of been in the middle or towards the bottom and just kind of like a support role player, which is why I took a step back to be a manager or an owner of an org. I've always had mild success, around CGM, CGI type stuff. Had a couple of teams around there, but I've been in and out of Team CS since 2018, I'd say. So yeah.
So yeah, what sort of players have you played with during that from 2018 to basically now, or players that you've managed in particular that have gone on to do bigger and better things?
I can't say many mentionable teams, many mentionable players, I'd say. They're all pretty. I mean, it's mostly just a friend group that I've had that have just stuck around and come and gone and kind of stayed around the pack. I don't know if you know Bridled Hawk. He kind of continues to play around the pack. Happy Ducks. I don't know if you know Happy Ducks.
Yeah, I do. They've played it. They played in that Bardolphs roster. Yep.
Yeah. So it's pretty much just the continuous Bardolph roster that I've continued to play with and manage throughout the career that I've had.
Is it more
whatever we call it?
Is it more of a social team? Would it be beneficial if they had a kind of a social sort of league for ESA or any other TO? It's basically you pay your money to get the servers up, and then bam, there you go.
100%. Yeah. It's it was more of a casual team, but I guess we had some good results against some decent teams, so we decided to put some effort in. I think 2021, 20 late, then we got on HLTV matches, and then it was kind of deciding whether we had the time. And I think the consensus was that a lot of the players didn't have the time, so it kind of turned into we'll just play, turn up to the games, have fun, try and win. That kind of environment.
Yeah. What sort of stuff?
A super serious environment.
What sort of stuff did you do outside of CS? So outside of the gaming community in particular? Do you go into any other games, or is it what sort of work do you do as well?
I've been doing a bit of work with Tarkov Arena. I don't know if you're familiar with that game.
No, yeah, continue. I know Escape off Tarkov, but I don't know about Arena, but yeah.
Yeah. So Escape from Tarkov Arena is basically like a 5v5. They have a 5v5 bomb mode.
Yep.
So it's pretty much like CS, but it's a lot more gritty and it's more realistic, I'd say. So I've been helping run a competition over there at the moment. And that is part of the reason why the Bardolphs has taken a backseat and is kind of on break at the moment. So I'm kind of running that. I had a team recently in there. They had some good results, okay results, and they're a good bunch of blokes. another team that likes fun. So yeah.
And outside of that, like, do you work any full-time work, part-time work?
Yeah. I'm a full-time business analyst for one of the big four banks. So boring job, but pays the bills.
Okay. Let's pick him out. Okay. Do they have a red logo?
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
Okay, ANZ, Commonwealth Bank. Um, Crap. I was gonna say do they have 7 letters, but they both have. But anyway, okay. But it doesn't really matter. What sort of line of work, like, what sort of skills and stuff like that do you need to have, like, that business analyst sort of role? Like in the business banking side or in the investment sort of side?
It's mostly the business banking side and to do with products and stuff. I mean, I can't really get into it, but it's a lot of like analytical stuff, analysis and product mapping and boring stuff.
Yeah, general is fine. Like, it's just developing products that meet customer needs, I suppose. I mean, I'm also in that financial advisor space as well, so I know you can't give away the secret sauce and like the secret new products that get developed that you tell advisors. Your BDMs tell advisors, but you guys are like, you told them this month, bro. We're not even ready yet. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like what sort of skills do you need? As I said before, in the business analyst role, is it more of a soft skill setup, or you just need the more technical know-how?
It's not much technical know-how. It's, I guess, like people skills, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like managing your stakeholders, product managers and stuff like that.
Yep.
You need to know your way around an Excel sheet, that's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, but other than that, it's pretty much just like talking to people in emails and getting stuff done.
Yep. So it's like pretty much overall, like, dealing with people, and that's what kind of happens as well. Like, how does those skills that you've had in your business analyst role apply to setting up for Tarkov or setting up for Bardolphs or anything like that in particular?
It definitely helps with like research and kind of understanding what's going on behind the scenes of like certain tournaments or like getting people organized, teams organized and like things scheduled, that kind of side of things. Not really. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I'd say.
Yeah.
That's all that comes to mind. Yeah.
And also, do you have to get a uni degree to get in that sort of job? Like, you get any masters or pay for anything like that?
No, I actually dropped out in year 10, so I got very lucky. I did. I got a statement of work through something for office admin, and then I kind of did a good job, so I kind of continued along that line, and then I ended up being a business analyst.
Okay. So you just became an admin and worked your way up. Did you study like any diplomas or anything like that as you worked up?
I've done some courses and stuff through my job, but no like official like unis or anything like that. No. Yeah.
Okay. So like, what were you trying to do like back in year 10, for example, when you left? Because a lot of people put that as a stigma, saying that everyone in Australia wants you to go to uni, and it's kind of like forced upon you. Like, what were you trying to do when you get out of year 10? Were you going to move into like blue collar, or what were you thinking at that time?
Look, I'll be honest with you. I didn't really have a plan when I left. I just didn't want to. School just wasn't for me, Like,
I can. Yeah.
I have ADHD. I just wasn't a good kid, if that makes sense. So I kind of just wanted to like start earning money. So I went into. I think my first job was a fish and chip shop, and then as soon as I turned 18, I went and worked behind a bar for a year and a half.
Yep.
And then I went to work for Event Cinemas as their gold class supervisor.
Yep.
And then I did that until COVID hit.
Oh,
and then I needed to work from I needed a work from home, type job, and I got an offer about a statement of work for office admin, and then I've just been with Westpac ever since. So.
Oh, so I was right. It was it was 7 letters. Got it.
Yeah. It was Westpac. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Westpac's and George, but yeah.
Any funny stories during like your way up there? Because you went from fish and chips to not to event cinemas actually. I completely forgot us that fish and chips to work behind a bar to event cinemas. Surely you got some good stories from that.
I got plenty of good stories. I don't know. Like the cinemas are pretty crazy. What you catch in the movie theaters.
Because I remember like one story in particular was there was someone like I think this was off Geordie's, but like someone moved like the movie, you know, the cardboard cutouts of the movies. You know how they have like proof of movies, but they used that to hide behind to get to the M18 movie, R18 and MA movies.
Oh, really? Yeah, yeah. So we have a podium like to check all tickets and stuff,
Yep.
and people used to not like standing at the podium, so people used to sneak in all the time. But we'd have someone in the cinema sneakily, like checking the R18 tickets, and be like, "Do you have your ID on you?" And catching people that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, people don't understand that there's cameras in the movie theater. You can see what everyone's doing. So it's pretty weird. Pretty weird some stuff that people have been caught doing, especially in the.
I'm already. Yep. I can already begin to imagine, and yeah. What was like working behind the bar like in particular? Like, you know, do you have good days, bad days? Like, have you ever had to escort someone out, tell them like no or anything like that?
Yeah, I've had a few refusals and stuff like that. It's a very like fast-paced environment, so like it's a high stress, fast-paced. It's like so you get used to it, and then like I don't know, it kind of hurts your like social life because when you get out of that rhythm, it's kind of like everything's so slow. Whereas like you're just like used to the fast, like everything's happening, do everything. It's like being a barista pretty much. Like you have the rush and it's like, oh, I'm making 100 coffees a minute and then doing nothing for the rest of the day after like 10 a.m. You know what I mean?
So how do you get into CS2 in particular from all of that? Like
CS?
Yeah.
A lot of my mates from high school used to play it, and I always used to crap on it. And I was like, I used to be an Xbox kid. I used to love Xbox, Halo Reach, all that stuff. And all my friends liked PC gaming, CS. And I was like, it's terrible. It's PC gaming, man. Like, why do you need a PC to play games? You got a console. And I got a laptop, and I was like, I'll install CS. And then I started watching it. I fell in love with it. And then I met Happy Ducks.
Yeah.
He was named Mount Franklin Water at the time.
Sounds pretty good name.
I don't know if you know Rhyme TK. Him and they played MM, and then I kind of was under their wing, you know, and they learned the ins and outs of CS, and we were like, we should make a team. And then this is kind of the origin of the Bardolphs. I don't know if you want me to go there, but we need a name.
I did ask, so yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was like, we need a name. What like should we come up with? And then I think we were spitballing at like 2 a.m. and we were like, what if we, named it after like a famous caster and then tried to get the caster's attention? And it would be a famous team, you know what I mean? And then so we came up, we're like, what name? And then we're like, what about the Bardolphs, like for James Bardolph? And then like, I guess we ran with it. We made like my friend like drew up a logo. And then I don't know if you remember the original logo, but it was like a cartoon drawing of James Bardolph in the Christmas suit, pretty much, with the Bardolphs written over it. And then we played a couple of seasons of CGO. And I think we went through the first season undefeated. I think we lost in the finals to Forlex actually on the original Arcon roster.
So you lost to the Rave Machine. That's all I'm hearing.
Yes. We lost to Forlex of Arcon way back when, and then we played another season, and then we lost. No, I think we won, and then we got CGA, and then we did pretty well there. And then I think we took a break, and then I stopped playing. It went to they went under a different name called Team Overpass with a couple of new players, and then I think they made CGM, and then I wanted to start playing again, so I joined back, and then we went back under the Bardolphs, and then I think we were under Team Trident for a little bit. But I
always heard about cyber games and stuff like that, CG and whatnot. Obviously, CG is basically LPL. How was that like back in the days? Because I've never been with cyber games and stuff like that. If you did not know that.
It was pretty chaotic. There was a lot of chaos during that period. I don't know. A lot of players were sticklers for the rules and would forfeit win you on purpose, and a lot of drama. It was pretty fun. It was like I do look back on it, and I had a lot of fun playing it. It was like because the the LPL Open or CGO Open, whatever you want to call it. You didn't have to pay an entry fee. You just joined, and then you scheduled your own matches. It was a casual league. That was like it was very fun, but yeah, the skill level wasn't there obviously, so we needed to move up and you know.
Obviously, with now LPL, I don't think LPL offer a league as far as I know. Like,
not currently, no.
No, yeah, I was gonna say not offer currently. So you kind of, is it something that would you like basically overall you would like for the scene in particular?
For LPL to come back?
The open part, like the open part league where you can pay socially.
Oh yeah,
and also LPL to come back.
I think like a casual league, there definitely needs to be some sort of unpaid casual league that people can join on the weekend and have fun, like 10-mans. You know what I mean? People always have fun like playing 10-mans, and it's just very casual and like chill. I think the community definitely needs a spot like that.
Well, not just unpaid though, but like only a small fee basically. Let's just say I'm not sure how much the servers cost to rent or something like that, but like back in the days, like when I played social basketball and whatnot, it was I think it was like $5 per player, and you put 50 there for the refs and whatnot, and that's it. And you just played ball. Now this is obviously back this is back like 20 years ago, so it's probably $10 or $20 now. But that's the point.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, something like that would be pretty good for the scene. I think right now, with ESEA Open and ECL, I think the Open League suffers from a skill gap where like the top 20 teams are just like infinitely better than the bottom like 30. So the bottom 30 are never gonna like win against like the top 20. That's not what's gonna happen. The skill gap's way too big right now. But the bottom 20 or the bottom 30, sorry, they can compete against each other. But like the problem is they're getting like tread on by the top 20 teams in the early season, and then like feel defeated, and then like maybe won't come back next season because they're like, what's the point, Because they're not focused. I guess they're not focused on getting better. They're just getting tread on by teams like Cannon Event and Blitz and.
Is there any way to really address that as per se, or is it?
I think
other than splitting the leagues, but it's yep.
Yeah. Look, I think what they're doing, overseas, not in Australia, to my knowledge, but the level 10 league, I think could be an interesting idea. I don't know how it would work in practice over here, but I guess we'll have to see how it works overseas. But I think that would probably limit the skill gap quite a bit.
Yep. Could just hubs in general just help out? Like, basically for 10-mans to help these teams improve. Like, hey, come join the 10-man and whatnot. Be with like-minded people trying to improve or trying to get better or trying to have a fun social time. You come here, same level, players that you are, and just have a bit of fun. Like, rather than having the separate social league, I suppose.
Yeah. You mean something like ANZC or whatever it is?
Yeah, it's like that. Yep, exactly
like that.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that could definitely help. I know there's a lot of issues with Open with undesirable players and people causing issues, which makes other players hesitant to join the league. But I think something like that could definitely help out. In a more casual environment than a more competitive environment, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course. Like I say, as long as the bad actors are being dealt with, I think people stick around. They see like dickheads get kicked out, and trust me, I've seen some of them on the Discord, and I roll my eyes, being like, okay, you are completely shooting yourself in the foot multiple times, but I told you once, see you later, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So, overall, I see you're taking a step back, and you've mentioned it because of Escape of Tarkov Arena. What does the Escape of Tarkov Arena have at the moment that the CS team just didn't have? Was it just switching games overall, or is it just
So I want to make it known that I'm not taking a break only because I'm organizing this stuff with Tarkov Arena.
Yeah.
I am taking a break because I just felt burnt out for CS and like I guess managing a team in CS. Not on the players at all. They're all lovely. They're all lovely players, and I love them all to death. Especially Mr. Fish. But I just with like everything like work life and social life, I kind of burnt myself out, and I was like, oh, something's got to take a backseat, you know. So I've kind of just said, look, I'm going on a break. I'm going on a break for the Bardolphs, and that's just going to be indefinite. I don't know. If I decide to pick it up in the future, then that's that. But for now, I am kind of done with that currently.
Yep. Talk about that. Let's get back onto it. Okay, what happened to the Bardolphs? Obviously, you took a back seat to it. But I gotta say, overall, like, you know, what you've mentioned the start of the Bardolphs, which was basically a group of fans coming together. How did you get James involved? Like, how did that
go? Okay. So this was actually when the team was taking a break the first time. We one night, I think it was like 10 p.m. We're all in a chat, and then someone told me, "Oh, James Bardolph has retweeted one of your match pages on Twitter," because we had like I used to make like funny graphics. When like we versed Riceco with like triplets way back in the day and stuff. You'd probably find them in the old Twitter files.
So you've had triplets in your team. You said you didn't have many players. If you have triplets,
no, he was on like the other team.
Oh,
like,
okay, never mind.
You know, against like Riceco. Like Riceco was an old team that had like Jinxie and triplets and Pocket and all the But yeah, pretty much he retweeted one of those and was like, "I really like this logo." And then I don't know. I guess the relationship blossomed from there. He's very nice, very supportive. I don't know if you see the tweets, but he does professional shooting.
Yep.
And he always wears that jersey.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Little videos. I'm like, oh man, what a man. But yeah, pretty much just like always retweets that stuff, and he's just a legend of the scene, honestly. But he's been very supportive of us. We haven't had the opportunity to meet him yet, unfortunately.
I was about to ask that question because he came to DreamHack, I believe, 2022. Was that right?
Yeah, he went down to DreamHack Melbourne. I live in Sydney, so I didn't make the trip down.
Come on, just train it over, mate. Train it over for the Blue Mountains. They've invented that railway, right?
And then yeah, he came for IM Sydney, but had to go before the playoffs, so we didn't see him due to unforeseen circumstances. So, but he did say that next time he's in Australia, he'll come get dinner with us, which I'm looking forward to. But yeah,
that sounds pretty good in the end. You know, you got James Bardolph there in particular, and also want to mention as well, you know, he's on all your stuff as well. Did you talk about the Bardolphs? Did you think about any other caster, like, you know, as a contingency or anything like that? Like, you know, that you wanted to name your team after, like the Sponges, the Machines. Well, the Pansies might not go too great, but I think she was out of the scene when you came in.
No, she was still there.
Oh no, yeah, she would have been still there. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think many names meshed well, like more than the Bardolphs.
Yeah.
I think we tried like the DDKers at the time. Yeah. But we were like, no, we prefer the Bardolphs, and then I think we just ran with it mainly because I think at the same time my friend drew up the logo pretty fast, and I was like, oh, let's just go with that because it was like a good picture that he drew. So I was like, no, we didn't really think about any other caster.
Because it really sounds like the Boondocks and the Bardolphs and the Boondocks have like kind of like the same, like, I don't know, same sort of importance or seriousness, or just, I don't know, just really rolls off the tongue really well in particular.
Yeah.
So what sort of stuff do you do to like set up the Bardolphs? Obviously you got the jerseys and stuff like that as well. Like, what things did you just go into action on right away on trying to build this team up from the ground?
A lot of the stuff we didn't really do until a lot later. Like, it was mostly just the name in itself and the team. A lot later, I think we got a website up still currently, and then we met up with Alex of True Apparel, aced them, and Anthony from True Apparel as well. And then we were like, oh yeah, they really wanted to work with us, so we decided to work with them. And then I guess we got some merch out. That was pretty pretty nice, pretty successful. A couple of people liked the merch. And then nothing really happened. We just played the game, continued to have fun on Twitter, post on Twitter, have some fun rivalries. I think IAM Sydney came along and I said I wanted to do something kind of special, so I got a new jersey designed, and this was the jersey you see me in the photo.
Yeah.
I think that was a big hit. I think we sold a fair few of those. But it was also kind of I don't know. It was like for IAM Sydney, we kind of hadn't met each other yet, so I kind of flew some of the boys down, and we got a hotel, and we had a lot of fun the whole weekend. It was a good team bonding experience, and I guess that's it. Yeah.
It was a crazy experience at IM Sydney because that's the first IM I've been to in particular. It was absolutely crazy meeting a lot of different people from around the world. Funnily enough, I met one of the biggest content creators from Malaysia because I was talking to him about the game and whatnot and how much I knew. It was pretty awesome.
Oh, really?
And it's just after I got dinner and he's like, oh, you're around here. Like he's talked to me, he's like, oh, you're around here, right? I'm like, yeah, like RCS2 a bit and stuff like that. It was pretty crazy. And yeah, your Dexter. I met a lot of the European players as well that I haven't put a face to name. Like, for example, I've casted Torzi a fuck ton since when he was in his Budapest 5 days. So it was good to meet Torzi for my first time as well. And I'm like, mate, remember you back in your Budapest 5 days and all you did was carry that team so hard. And meeting Machine, Henry G and stuff like that as well. Oh man, I gotta tell you right now, Henry G and Hawker made like indie music, like, low tier bands, punk bands sound so interesting. They're going so deep into music theory. And as I'm sitting there just relaxing after your deal, trying to get into the VIP suite, and I was listening, going, "Geez, I'm starting to get interested in what Henry G and Hawker is saying, and I don't even care about music."
Indie bands, yeah.
Yeah. And then I was chilling with Machine for a bit, so I was good and talked to him, and then talked to Heku as well. I kind of felt bad because Heku came to Australia to go to the zoos and that, and I'm like, I don't live in Sydney. So yeah, but it was really, really good and saw a lot of people as well. TJP, fucking Bones. I always remember Bones because he's really tall, and also the other part I recognize Bones for is because he never clutches, even though he deserves it so much. He does such a good effort to clutch it out, and he just doesn't get the last kill always. But IM Sydney was really good. Did you guys do anything for? What happened with the Bardolph meetup? Like, did you guys plan anything for that IM Sydney? Sorry, we went off my tangent, which is probably not the greatest thing.
What do you mean by Bardolph meetup? Like,
you said
James Bardolph?
Yeah, you guys were going to meet him at IM Sydney. Like, did you had it all organized?
Yeah. So it was we were going to meet him. I don't want to get into any details. He had to fly back home for some personal reasons, and then he apologized. It was just unfortunate timing. But we were going to meet him, and then we just couldn't. The timelines didn't meet up, which is unfortunate.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. We met you.
Yeah, I know. You guys definitely. I think I met a lot of people that event in particular. Like I met Brandy and stuff like that for the first time. Met a lot of people and a lot of people for the first time as well. I also met Aiden Hiko for the first time as well. Fucking esports genius, or what is he called?
Is that the Chiefs guy?
Yeah, Chiefs guy. I'm trying to remember what his tag on the news was. That one time, I'm not sure. There was like something esports expert or something like that. It was he got me very hard because of it. But I just say really, I'm really happy for you guys in particular. Like the Bardolphs really took off in particular, and that a member of talent took really well to it as well, and also like promoted it, especially because a lot of people in particular, if you use their likeness, they generally want a bit of a cut of it. They don't freely promote it.
Yeah, we were a bit worried about that.
Yep.
Obviously, behind the scenes, I asked him if he was okay with it. Yeah. I think the first season of ESL Main, Wanda was like, you can't use James Bardolph's likeness unless you get permission directly from him.
Yeah.
And then we had a conversation about it. He was fully on board. He loved the logo and loved what we're doing. So yeah, I mean, big ups to him. He's a legend of the scene, as I said, and what he's doing. Hopefully, he comes back with DDK.
Mm-hmm. Well, as long as DDK doesn't call Adigo a sheriff, we could be cooking, okay? But no, how was he like to meet in particular? Like the initial meeting, like what were your expectations going up to it, and how did you feel the meeting went? Like the initial meeting of talking to him, either online. I'm not sure how you guys did it, but you go through it.
Online, yeah. It was mostly through Twitter DMs and I think Discord as well. But yeah, he's very, very polite, very professional. Always up to answer questions that I had regarding like Face It and him and any favors we needed. Yeah, and then as I said with the shooting videos, the professional shooting videos, he always supports us with the jersey that we send him. So he's he's very, very, very good.
Were you ready to get an exclusive interview of him as well? Just publish it up.
Yeah, I haven't asked him. I don't know. I could probably ask him if you really wanted to.
Oh no! I'm just saying for yourself, or for you guys to do it because
for me?
Yeah, we're like wondering
I could probably ask for you, to be honest, not me.
No. I was wondering if you guys did it in the because I'm like you guys got the access,
No. We didn't do any interviews with him, unfortunately. Just never came to fruition. Like we wanted to do. I mean, I wanted to do so much more, but me. I just don't want to get into it, but yeah.
Yeah, well, you said you'd burnt out before, so yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was gonna say it's probably one of the most successful franchises to like involve like a big talent map in particularly, which is fairly awesome, especially James Bardolph. Like, how shocked was he knowing that he had like Australian fans, like a huge Australian fan base?
Yeah. He was pretty shocked. I think we got a mention on one of the major broadcasts, which was funny as.
Yeah, I do mention that.
Oh yeah, I've got a team that is named after me in Oceania, and I'm like, that's really cool for us, that recognition for us. But I guess he probably sees it as cool, right? Because we're all fans of him. We love his casts, and then. I don't know. We want to make sure that we do somewhat well in the competitions, and sometimes we came short, and it was a bit sad. But
what made you big fans of him in particular? Like what certain highlights or certain events or plays?
I mean, obviously, the thing that comes to mind is the simple double no scope, right? That cast.
Wait. Prius, it's fine. Okay, it's okay. Okay, he didn't mention your name.
Yeah.
Continue.
Oh, God. Press missed it, man. Yeah, but that obviously comes to mind first. I guess I'm just like, we've always been a fan of his casting. And then, I don't know, it just kind of turned into what it is today, or what it was.
I was going to say overall, like, he obviously went into different academies and whatnot. Like, the Gucci Academy and how that went. Yeah, I was gonna say overall, like Bardolph's been an interesting sort of person. He's gone from the Face It, talent, and then to the Gucci stuff. Do you know where he's off to now, in particular? Like after the casting stuff, I haven't seen him too much around, or is he moving to a different game?
Well, he did a lot of ALGS, which is the Apex Legends major stuff. But I'm pretty don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure him and DDK are making a comeback into CS.
Okay, and
I don't know if that's a scoop or not, but I'm pretty sure that is what he plans to do.
And are you guys moving into Apex as well? If he moves into Apex, are you guys going to put an Apex team?
Well, I mean, we're on an indefinite break, so probably not, but maybe.
Because I guess overall, I do remember the major broadcast. He gave it a mention as well. Yeah, always wondered, how delicate you got to be. Because I know Andrew would have been a person to mention that about the likeness. Because obviously he's very, very serious, the copyright world in particular. But yeah, overall, I mean, I guess overall, the Bardolphs has been a pretty fun name to watch. And I've got to say, overall, if you get a team into the ECL and whatnot, it'll be even better. And I got to say, overall, there's probably some teams that could be unorged or in a bedroom all together could really be helped by having a Bardolph backing a team, basically.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that. I mean, before certain things happened behind the scenes, we were looking at picking up a roster.
Okay.
After this season, but
Damn FlyQuest.
kind of.
Damn FlyQuest swinging in and taking your org, man.
No, it kind of fell through. Player left the team, and then I just decided to shut it down for now.
Damn FlyQuest.
But I am going to be helping out some other orgs behind the scenes. So
okay, so you do like
I'm not going away, but
doing more player management. Like what other stuff you're gonna do behind the scenes? Like is it more assisting or managing?
Player management. Yeah, player management behind the scenes and all that.
Yep. Have you ever done any player managing stuff before? Like managing a teams or anything like that? Like part of the Bardolphs?
No, not other than the Bardolphs, but I think it'll be pretty uphill. Or not uphill, like pretty smooth sailing, if you say. So after managing the Bardolphs, they're pretty rough bunch, pretty rowdy boys. So
who's the rowdiest of them all? Okay, let's just turn the screws on poor Shrubby here. Who's the rowdiest one? Okay.
The rowdiest?
Yep.
God. The biggest brand risk would have to be Mr. Rhyme.
Okay.
But he's also the most passionate. Probably one of the best players that I've played with.
Is he a brand risk because he's too good, or?
He's a brand risk because sometimes he talks a little too much trash. If you know what I mean. So,
okay, so he's a
bit of a trash talker.
So he's a ruffleco, okay, except probably more extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I guess I'd say more of a challenge to manage would probably be Bridled Hawk.
Okay.
Mr.
I'm not sure.
He's a bit of a challenge. So
yeah.
And then getting a hold of Happy Ducks is almost next to impossible. I don't know if you saw the post, but he went missing for a couple of weeks.
Did he sleep in? He was sleeping in, wasn't he? Fucking NACS, mate. Okay, it always comes across in AUCS. I don't think Bridal Hawk was happy to comment, but question mark him back. Yeah, do that. Okay. Let's get on to the next topic. Okay, because of the Bardolphs overall, a small little success story, and it just proves in particular that if you talk to people and whatnot, you can get some stuff done in particular, and you can get your crazy of dreams can come true, even if it doesn't. Even if the end result that you guys were hoping for. Actually, what sort of end result were you hoping for the Bardolphs?
I think we achieved way more than we expected to. Like, we never expected James Bardolph to respond to us. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So anything past that was kind of crazy. We all get the HLTV profiles again, which is pretty nuts in itself. It's an achievement within OCE. I'd say we achieved whatever we really wanted to do, and that's another reason I'm not a player anymore, is because I've kind of achieved everything I need to do. Like, I'm not going to make a major, so everything else past that is
not even actually like that, mate. You got to believe you're simple, okay? You're prime simple, mate. You're like simple plus Donk plus JL plus Ime plus Elige all combined, just different haircuts, mate. Bald head.
I'm not even as good as Crass, so how am I gonna make a major, man?
Sometimes you got to have people pretend that they're you, okay? You got to disguise people in.
Okay, I get you.
Anyways, I was going to say, it's good that you achieved what you wanted to do, what the team wanted to do, and, just getting some overseas exposure for the Australian League, which is incredible, because it's kind of difficult for Australia to get any sort of exposure, because not many people are, obviously population-wise, and also Australia's not like a Titan powerhouse of CS2.
No, yeah.
We're going to the next topic and talking about Australian teams. We have two of them at ESL Challenger Atlanta. And we're going to have a preview of these teams in particular. So the teams that are here at the event is M80, the local hero invite, FlyQuest, Big, BetBoom, Saw, who qualified via the European qualifier, Wildcard, Amrap's team, as everyone knows, Odic from the South American qualifier, and Rooster from the Oceanic qualifier. What do you think about this event overall? How do you think this event's going to go for the Australian teams, or do you want to go through it on a team-by-team basis, or what is your gist?
Go through team-by-team basis. I'd say that it's pretty rough that both the OCE teams are in the same group once again. I think that's a rough thing to have, but
Same with the American teams, and same with the European teams other than big.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
Yep. I'd say overall, like, what do you think about this tournament overall? Do you think this is a stacked tournament for an ESL Challenger? You've got your ESL Joshin, which was like stacked to the shithouse, and then you got your ESL Melbourne, which was pretty easy by comparison. Everyone's going to hate me for that comment, but trust me, it was pretty easy by comparison.
Yeah. I think M80 are definitely the team to watch this this tournament. I think in terms of talent, I think they really are going to be coming in to like steal some wins. Like they're probably looking at like semis to quarterfinals. Or like if they don't get that, they'll be disappointed. I feel.
Are you saying Steel's coming back to IGL M80? Is that what you're saying? They're going to steal some wins?
No, I hope not. They've got a. Is the IGL now? It's
Sin.
Yeah.
Yep.
They got a pretty solid. Like they had solid results at EPL, right?
Yep, and also, despite the quarterfinals, their quarterfinals are a bit lackluster, to be honest. But yeah, they got into the quarterfinals of the ESL Pro League. We'll go through MA. We'll go through by team basis. MAD picked up Lake after losing Malbs, and they haven't really missed a beat. They're the first team since that isn't Complexity or Liquid to make an ESL Pro League final playoffs. They've been very dominant and very consistent in how they play CS. Like, the utility is fucking amazing. Their trading is really good. Their working off each other and playing for each other is really, really good as well. Their initiative to go after European IGLs and AWPers, like, they're not afraid to go outside, has been really good as well. And also, not to mention as well, like, a lot of star players from their team, like Rek and Swisher, for example, have really adopted themselves to different roles as well. Like, Rek's become a support player rather than being a star player, has been really, really good to see as well. I think M80 are the favourites to win this tournament, given the fact that they've got so many good players in it. The only big challenge I see is either big or Saw. The Rangers I got they're the favourites, I'm going to say, is that they've got a good plan, they've got a good philosophy of play, and also, not to mention as well, their utility is great, so their CT sites are really good. In one of the ECL games, they had an average on their CT side of 60 utility damage per round, which is incredible. It was against a lesser team, but like the nades, the rotations, and the things are still there, and I think M80 have got a really decent chance of winning the event.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree. I just had a second look at all the participants. I think realistically, the only one that could upset them would be Big in the group. Like early in the group, if they stumble there, then they could have another stumble against like Wildcard or something. But yeah, I agree. They're definitely favourites to win after looking at the group. I think. What do you think about Wildcard?
Wildcard. Okay, they've got Friend to fill in, and they've got Vin's, obviously a Polish coach. He's been around quite a bit. I'm trying to figure what Polish mix he coached, because there's a lot of them. I'm trying to think. I know Mini Rock's coach AGO. I'm trying to where Vin's was, because he's been back in the advanced days as well. But he coached a Polish mix team, whether it's Whistler, obviously Luminaire, whether it's Actina Pact. One of those teams he coached for a long time. And they picked up Friend as well, who's the AWPer as well, the Polish AWPer. Obviously, that's a stand-in. Obviously, I think... I'm not sure who's unable to attend. I forget who's unable to attend. I just got there. That's like Fizzy. That's right. And that's going to hurt Wildcard a bit. But they still got the main players in Stanislaw and JBA. JBA has been incredible in that scene in particular. And he's like an absolutely gun rifle. I hear these people in the Richcord or the Richard Lewis Discord really hype JBA up as being, one of the players like Lake, for example, that's really, really good. However, in this tournament, I think when you have one of your players, your EU players, Fizzy and stuff like that, get done with visa issues, it really disrupts your team. And also, Friends usually an AWPer, and they've already got Sonic in the team as well. So I'm not sure how that's going to go. So I feel like Wildcard, in particular, probably will go out a bit early. I reckon they'll probably go out in the Decider. I reckon they'll beat Odict in the elimination, but will go out in Decider.
Okay.
But I don't think Wildcard will make it to the playoffs. I think that losing Fizzy is going to hurt them quite a bit.
Okay. They only have one player from America as well.
Yeah. I know, it doesn't matter. Canada's the 53rd state, right?
Yeah.
I got to the next thing. Let's go to FlyQuest. Okay, let's go back to one of the Australian teams.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
So FlyQuest, I guess overall, minimum standard, like especially going to the Asia Armor, they need to make playoffs. Okay. Whether they
Yep, I agree.
and they need to get to grand finals. If they win or lose, it doesn't matter. They need to get the grand finals to be on that standard of play, because at the moment, them and Lin Vision have had their credentials tested and questioned, given ESL Pro League and stuff like that as well. Like the last few tournaments for these teams in particular have been pretty poor for like the standards they were before IM Dallas. With FlyQuest overall, I forgive them for IM Dallas. There's no chance they're going anywhere, because there's just elimination everywhere written all over it. But Cologne, ESL Pro League have been massive disappointments for FlyQuest. They did not perform anywhere near where they did previously in those similar events. And I've got to say, this one's a bit easier, but they need to perform at this and need to be grand final minimum. It's also good as well that Alistair's been getting a lot better and more consistent in particular. I think I've said this multiple times on my podcast, that people are hooksying Alistair where they are overcritical of him to a point where it's just like, Alistair's not Alistair is losing them rounds, but he's not like so bad he's losing them the game every single time. Like, he's being over criticized. Like, there is something wrong there, but it's not to the extent that people are egging it on to be, kind of thing. They still got the right.
I think it's sorry to interrupt. I was just gonna say that I think it's more of a, there is something wrong within that roster.
Yeah.
And it has been a long time since they've made a change. Something needs to happen, and I think people are looking towards either Alistair or Liaz to be that change. I don't think it's necessarily overcritical. I think it's because he's the longest standing member, and I think people are starting to see people from overseas come in as like the AWPers, right? Like Ultimate in Liquid, and see their impact. And then I guess Semper Fi with their overseas team, they're getting decent results.
And MHL, yep.
Yeah, exactly. And MHL and Talon. I think people are seeing that, and they're assuming that needs to be, the new standard for teams to make the next level. I don't necessarily think that Alistair is playing really bad. I just think that it's just something is happening wrong in that team, and there needs to be changes if they don't have the results, like you said, like if they don't make playoffs here. I think something needs to change before the RMR.
But I guess you can't change anything before the RMR.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's because the rosters are locked in basically because they got invited, and I would be making changes depending on the results of the major, in my opinion. But at this moment, I'd say I think he's been he's over magnified. Like, for example, Hooksy in G2. Is Hooksy really a win condition in G2? No, he's not. If he goes badly, you don't lose the games. If Nico goes badly, you lose the games. But I feel like he's been over magnified on that. I'd say overall, Ince, Liaz, and Vexite, as well as Dexter as well, been very, very good. I think Ince had a bit of off form lately, but we know that he's going to come back bigger and stronger and perform at these big events. I think Vexite as well, towards the end of ESL Pro League, did work his way in becoming a win condition for FlyQuest as well, especially on Vertigo, where he almost wrestled the map for FlyQuest on that second Vertigo before they lost, and also won on that first Vertigo as well.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with those points.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just someone in ICE who hopes that
what do you feel about
there's more challenge.
What do you feel about FlyQuest in particular? Anything that they need to work on, anything that's really good with them at the moment?
I think from the last time I was watching them, I don't know. I just feel like there's something not clicking, and it might be something small, it might be something big, but once it clicks, I feel like they're definitely at the skill level of the Mongols. We've seen those heights, not recently, but we've seen the same roster have good results. But something is just after Chengdu, I think it was, that they just haven't been the same. I don't know why, but
I always put it down to late round or late game calling and stuff like that. That it just seems to fall to pieces where they lose a lot of advantageous scenarios and lose matches where they have a supreme advantage in, and close out some of those matches as well. And if they like, what I want to see is if they can stop a team 13-3. Okay, that's what I want to see on LAN.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, like, they first, let's just say, who's their first match? Bet Boom. If they beat them 13-3 and don't let them come back into the match at all, I'll be like, that's a good start.
Yeah.
Yep. Now let's move on to Big. And I'm going to say, Big's a weird one. Big's in this weird space that they're good, but not good enough. Okay, like they're there, they're the gatekeepers, but do they make it anywhere in the playoffs? No. Do they get very far? No. Like, they've got good names on it, like Tabson, your Rigon as well. They picked him up. JDC from the Mouse Next Structure. Sirisson's been around for ages. Crimbo from the Big Academy. What, like, with Big in particular, they should get to playoffs at least for this tournament. But I just don't get Big. Like, I just don't get how they can't make these big runs with this roster they've got. Like, this roster's been together for a bit. They've got some really talented German players. What's wrong with the Big roster?
Yeah. It's just like, I don't know. It's like, what's the other team?
Heroic?
Crap. Heroic, yeah. And even Heroic. They have like a lot of talented players, but they just are not coming up with the results. Like, you look at that on paper and you're like, that's a stacked team. And then you look at it in the server and you're like, what's happening?
Yeah, like Big in particular, they've obviously been a big rival with FlyQuest. I think they've knocked FlyQuest to the lower brackets so many times that I can even count at this stage.
Yeah.
So yeah,
they wiped out Rooster as well, didn't they, at APL? Or am I?
Oh, did they wipe out Rooster? No, I thought they were in the same group as I
could be wrong.
FlyQuest.
Could be different.
No, they did. They did wipe out Rooster. Like,
Yeah.
to be fair, expected to do so as well. Big absolutely just tore them to shreds.
I mean, did you want to move on to Rooster, or like, because I think there's a lot to discuss there with their roster issues, or?
Oh no, next one will be Bet Boom. Okay.
Okay, we can move on to.
We'll do it order. Okay. Well, let's talk about Bet Boom.
Oh, good.
I gotta say, Bet Boom is the. Oh, we should talk about expectations for Big. Okay, Big, as I said, they should make playoffs. They could be either a losing grand finalist or eliminated in semifinals. That's what I have for Big in particular. I don't think there's many challenges in Big's group other than M80. And I think Group B, I would say overall, is just definitely decided with Big and M80 making it through. I don't think Wildcard and Audit can really match them. And yeah, I'd say I'm expecting Rigon to have a good tournament here, I reckon. I think Rigon's going to have a really, really good tournament here.
Yeah. And Tabson, hopefully. I love Tabson.
Now we get on to the next team, the discarded Russian players team, because they're all discarded parts from various teams. You got your Nafani from Cloud9, you got your Chiron from Virtus Pro, you got your Siren from Spirit, you got your Zorte from Force, and you got your Magno Jez. I have no idea where he came from. I think it was probably Aurora, or like probably one of those Russian teams, or One Win or something like that. And you got Railway, who's also from, I forget that Russian team name. Had I can't think of his name on it. Like, had that Orp who's like really old, but he's like kind of good. Like, he punishes people. I forget. Oh,
World Edit?
No, not World Edit, not him. He's another dude. Oh, I'm trying to remember his name. Let me try to find it. But either way, like, they've been to like all these different events, and I just can't think of his name at the moment. I'll find it. I'll find it eventually, okay?
That's so good.
Nelson Celta. It was Davcost. That's right, Davcost.
Okay.
Yeah, so Railway used to play with them and stuff like that. And like these guys, like this Bet Boom team is literally, I feel like, discarded players that have been all put together who are very good. Like Zorte is a very clutch alt player. Magno Jez is an amazing rifler. And I feel like Bet Boom's a forgotten team. I think like Bet Boom is a pretty decentish team, probably a middling tier 2 team. But I feel like people forget about them and forget that they exist half the time. Because most of the times they're playing against like your FaZe, your Spirit. It's just like, it's like, the Sex Pistols. Like, here, to never mind the bollocks, which is Bet Boom. Here is, the main event, the other Russian teams. I feel like Bet Boom can do some damage at this tournament. But I feel like they're going to get out into the decided game or be eliminated in the elimination game if they do lose to Rooster. Because Group A is completely stacked compared to Group B.
Yeah, in terms of their first matchup's FlyQuest, right?
Yep.
You said? Yeah. I definitely think they can upset FlyQuest. Or, I mean, I think they're the favourites going into the FlyQuest match with the recent results. But yeah, if they beat FlyQuest, I think definitely they will make semis in at least. They have a very. I remember there might be a completely different roster, but I remember IEM Sydney way back when, and they're very strong, very strong team back then. So
Yep. They
I
are.
don't think anything's changed much.
It's a hard one in particular because also obviously FlyQuest has been in BetBoom previously and is probably going to be a free, I believe, which was the same rosters as well. Yeah, they got eliminated by FlyQuest. It's 2-1 to FlyQuest in the end. He also lost to Amcal. Oh, jeez. Every time I see Amcal, I just remember the nip match and just be like, oh, God, that's a terrible...
The terrible cast.
Yeah, the vertigo. And it was just like, oh, God, please get me out of this game. Like, just launch me out. Overall, I think BetBroom have lost to FlyQuest before. Should be a close BO1 between these two teams. I reckon that BO1's going to be an absolute banger to cast, in particular, between BetBroom and FlyQuest. Especially the first game as well. Next up, you want to talk about Rooster. Let's talk about Rooster, okay? Rooster are pretty stuffed at the moment, if I'm going to say. Like, they are pretty stuffed. You're having a roster change just before an event, a LAN event, to JHD, from Danger to JHD, and I'm going to say it's a downgrade. Danger's got more in the utility and the clutchness than JHD, and I'm not sure how long JHD's been playing. I know he's been practicing in Europe with Chelios on Faceit and whatnot. Overall, I think obviously losing Danger is huge for Rooster in particular. Danger is a big unsung hero in particular in that. He's good at the nades, good at the clutching, will play all the shit jobs for you and get the shit jobs done. Obviously, I was talking to ASAP about this as well. Obviously, if you guys are listening to this, Rooster, that's my opinion. I know you guys are good guys too, and I know sometimes good teams do split apart due to personal differences. It's not like anyone's a bad person in particular. Want to get that caveat out the way before someone says I love Danger. Probably Ben the Legend after he says I love Rooster too much. If you remember that ages ago. I always troll Ben every time. If Semperfi or Direwolf's kind of like, oh, Rooster, my favorite team.
I definitely agree with your points. I don't think I think it's definitely a downgrade. It's probably made out of necessity more than anything else. I think they might have, I don't know, had an emergency or something. But I think that Danger was instrumental in that close game against Mouse Sports and everything. So with Slimy being new on the roster as well, we're kind of seeing ups of Rooster. They're definitely competitive with even FlyQuest. I think it was pretty close matches in ECL recently.
And Talon as well. They competed with Talon.
Yeah, exactly. They're competing for top 2, top 3, consistently. I don't know how they're going to go with this new 5th or JHD. I think he's played with the team previously.
He has.
Yeah. I'm hoping they get a win at least. I'm not expecting them to make playoffs, but I'm expecting them to at least take a win off someone. Whether that be FlyQuest or whoever they verse.
I can say these BO1s particularly could be an upset on the cards as well. Could get a jump and soar and actually win that map. You never know. I'd say overall I've been very, harsh on them. I forgot to mention as well that, they switched to IGL to TJP to be more in the pack player from Chelios. And they made that decision with in mind that Chelios, I think ASAP said Chelios didn't really want to IGL too much. He didn't want to have all the pressure placed on him. And TJP just wants to be TJP wanted to be more of a role in the team, I believe. I could have got that one wrong. And also not to mention as well.
ASAP changed to Netix roles, I think, right?
Yeah, they've taken a mixture of both. That's what ASAP told me, when I was interviewing him. And I felt to ASAP as well. I said to him, mate, I feel like you guys overreacted to Netic leaving. Because I felt like a lot of you guys could have filled those roles and it was a lot less impact than Rooster made it feel because Rooster were losing to games that they shouldn't have really been losing.
I think they've settled though. I think they've balanced out with Slimy. I think he's a very useful player on their roster, and he'll definitely grow. I just wonder when what's his name, Crass is going to get the come up after JHD.
I gotta say overall, talking about players, in particular Rooster, Kraz is gonna hate me for this, by the way. Rooster could find better riflers than Kraz, to be honest, and could grab better riflers as well. They should. And
who are we getting?
Get Super, mate. I joked with Rooster. I joked with Rooster that all they did was just pick up anything that Mind Freak left behind, given they picked up Slimy and Danger.
Jeez. Okay, fair enough. Super's with Vantage right now, isn't it?
Yeah, he is. That's why I was joking. Like, they picked up Danger, they picked up Slimy, maybe Super, maybe.
Let's agree to disagree. I definitely think Klass's pickup from Arcade is definitely better than. I mean, the results will show, in the next season.
I made a joke that they would just pick up Gump as well. Like, ask Mind Freak if you can borrow Gump.
Is Gump still playing?
He plays the Mind Freak.
Yeah.
Yeah, as to the joke, all they do is get people from Mind Freak, and that's it. That's how the recruitment works. Whoever Mind Freak drops, we pick up. Anyways, like I say, TJP being the IGL, I think it's a lot better because you want having an entry as the IGL. It has become a meta of a lot of teams that the meta or the pack play is the IGL, and it also helps Chelios out quite a bit as well, focusing more on the AWPing and whatnot. And you've noticed that with the IGL roles being lifted off him, he's been very sharp as well with the AWP. Now Slimy,
I think.
Yep. Oh, there you go.
I was gonna say, I think TJP probably gaining a lot more confidence in the roster as the IGL. Yeah. Having a lot more control. I feel like he feels like more a part of the roster than previous.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I was gonna say his face it name is such such a description of him in the server when when he just enters and he just constantly enters on the same player over and over again. I'm like, that's just misery, mate. Misery, torment, and pain. He's just causing it.
Misery 666 mentioned.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, every time I'm like, his name is literally fucking what TJP does, because he was doing the Hazard on Mirage against Talon, and it was TJP kills Hazard, TJP kills Hazard, TJP kills Hazard. I'm like, Hazard must be feeling like fucking shit at the moment because TJP's got his number. One thing I want to mention as well, Slimy, he's definitely clicked. You said it before, wait till this roster clicked. Talk about someone clicking, Slimy.
Yeah.
Like, he's that game against Mouse was his clicking game. Unfortunately, they didn't get the win there. That would have actually made it 2 for 2, by the way, for a first time a player clicks with their team that they win. Mouse lost to Endpoint when Flames clicked with their team back ages ago, particularly. Okay. And it was Mouse on the receiving end of that 2-1 loss on Vertigo, 2-1 loss, which was funnily enough. Let's move on. Do you got any questions about Rooster? They have the GOAT, which is Full Send JD as coach, by the way, but it's not listed.
He's coaching still. Yeah, I think he's
Yep.
I mean, a good coach. He's been a part of the scene forever. So
yeah.
I can remember him he was on the old roster like ages and ages ago.
Yep. He also
yeah, they're definitely Oh, sorry. Go.
Oh, you go for it, man. I interrupted you again. I'm being awful today.
Oh, good. I was just gonna say, yeah, they're like a close knit, I mean, this kind of like the same structure as me and the Bardolphs, like close knit friends. It's like a friends org or team. So yeah, I think the results speak for themselves. They've always managed to stay competitive and be like the top of CS, which which is pretty good.
Can't believe they put Nedic as number 7 on their tier list of ex-Rooster players. But either way, I gotta say, Full Send JD's been a good coach. ASAP said that he's been there to just stop the tilt, keep the mental right. He's got a lot of experience in that area, kind of like 80k as well. Like 80k has a lot of experience in that area as well. 80k is a counselor. If you didn't know that, okay, that shocked me. I was like, holy shit. But we'll get on to Odic next. And I guess Odic, it's one of these Brazilian teams that you don't hear too much about. It's kind of like MIBR, for example. This is MIBR before they made it deep into ESL Pro League. You don't hear many of these Brazilian players before, other than Woody.
Yeah, I've never heard of Odic before, to be honest. Before just now. So.
Yeah. So Odic, I gotta say overall, they're in the South American League. They're not doing that flash in the South American League. And I'd say overall, I feel like they've got JTR in, who used to be their coach. Now he went to FlyQuest as well. They've had a few good players in there in particular, but I feel like this is like a development roster. and this is more to gain experience LAN. I think this would be a great event for them. I'm trying to think. I think only Woody has LAN experience, I believe, because Woody used to play on the
He's been in the major.
yeah, he played the major before they exploded that roster because that roster was I think it was I'm trying to think which team was in the major with, but like that roster just didn't work. I know he was with Turtle
No.
at one stage as well.
Yeah, he had a good sticker.
Oh,
That's all I
that's
know.
right. That's right. It was with MIBR. That's right. The MIBR roster was just going nowhere. It was like driving in circles basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Overall, I'd say decider or elimination. They are going to could beat wildcard if they go down and drop down because they're versing big and they're probably going to get stomped. I reckon they can probably beat wildcard as well. But I think the main thing at this tournament for Otic in particular is get all those scrims in, get all those BO3s in. If they beat wildcard, get LAN experience, get their first LAN win over the line and whatnot. I think it's going to be the main goal here. It's not going to be trying to win the event and trying to get that ESL Pro League spot.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with that. No comments on that, really.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where you just get your reps in, see how it goes. They won the South American qualifier. That's going to be really hard to do, especially when you get other teams from South America coming in. I know IM Rio is going on as well, so they'll probably have to miss that. But it doesn't matter, get some LAN events. You're not going to get to IM Rio anyway because you invite Furia and MIBR before you anyway. And, you got to deal with Legacy, Red Canids, and all the other Brazilian teams to even get there. So going to any event like Atlanta will just massively helpful. We talked about wildcard. Last but not least, we talk about Saw. Okay, and I've got to say, Saw are a team that's performing beyond expectations and beyond the players that they have on this roster. Because I remember them having this exact roster in that major and they lost, and now they have the same roster, but Barry is the coach and now they're starting to make deep runs into these RMRs and whatnot. What do you feel about this roster? I think the only person that's changed has been Aristos. And I think Story, E-Jokes, Roman, and Mudarus have been there since a while. They've been chopping and changing them. And Barry is the coach.
Okay. I think Modus is a hit and miss.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around for a while. I think.
Definitely.
I think Barry as a coach is probably a good thing. He's coached like fours and stuff, and like to majors and everything. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So I don't necessarily. Who's their first matchup? Rooster.
Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, I probably see that going either way. I feel like Saw has the European competition, which is a lot more competitive, but Rooster definitely have the aimers to, upset. So we'll see. Because
I'm gonna say I expect Rooster to probably win first. Not Rooster, sorry, Saw to probably win that 13-5. I gotta say, Saw can't take this one lightly, and I think Barry's gonna be panicked to that team. You can't take Rooster lightly. They almost beat Mouse, and Mouse, we're taking it a bit lightly as well. You can't play second gear in these teams.
Yeah, exactly. If it wasn't for that 2v5, they would have won. So. And
also, not to mention as well that they're performing beyond the sum of their parts. I've seen Saw play without Barry, the coaching, before Barry, and they did not look at all. But with Barry, they've elevated to making deep runs to the ESL Pro League, getting into that EU RMR, turning the screws around as well, making some deep runs in a lot of tournaments. And I think Barry as a coach is really building up a lot of credentials as well. That basically, if a coach position becomes available in some of the tier 1 or tier 2 teams trying to enter there, I think he'll be first on their targeting list as well, given the fact he's elevated a pretty average Portuguese roster that hasn't seen much success to where they're at now.
100%. Yeah, I agree. Barry's definitely on the watch list for a lot of the teams.
Yeah. And not to mention as well, you've got Aristos as well. He's another young Portuguese player that's definitely changed a lot in this team as well. Give that young firepower. And he's not like a donk or anything like that in particular, but he's given Saw something to really lean on and rely on as well. And has also really inspired the other players in particular to really take the game on. What do you... Okay, so before we go on to the next subject, what are your picks to win the tournament? And what teams you picked to surprise at the tournament? And any big exits?
Picks to win. I think it'll be a surprise to me if FlyQuest drop out last. I don't want that to happen, but I think it'll be a surprise. I think I want M80 to win. That's what I want. I think they've done a lot lately in terms of results. So I think NA needs to be back on top. Bring NA back. It's an NA competition, so it's only right. I think a shock exit would probably be big. I think if they exit out in groups, I think they'll have to make some changes. But what about you? Who do you see?
MA to win, like MA win this tournament, home ground, and also not to mention Lake will be tarping on, and he'll be like, "Look at me, Ricky," and he'll be like, "No one's called Ricky in the entire stadium." It's just like, "Damn it, where is he?"
Yeah.
But MAD definitely got a lot of skilled rifles in there. They win the first LAN. I believe it'll be their first LAN, but I'm not too sure. If it's not, they'll just win it. Big surprises I'm gonna say is I reckon that Saw will not make playoffs. That's my big surprise. I reckon Saw will not make playoffs. I reckon they'll be eliminated. And I think they'll be eliminated by Bet Boom. So that's one thing I've got. And
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And I think last but not least, the surprise package. I reckon it could be a Rooster upset in the BO1. I don't know, not the BO1. Sorry, it could be a what is it? No, Odyc. It could with Big and Odyc. It could be an Odyc upset in the open. I reckon. I reckon Odyc could upset Big because Odyc is just this unknown package. Okay, that's the mystery of it.
Yeah, that would go with what I said about Big dropping out in the groups as well. Because if they lose to Odyc, then kind of hurts their chances.
Let's get to the next subject. The next subject is obviously this going to tie into a lot. It's going to be about the Blast emergency sub rules. Okay.
Mr. Cadian.
Yeah. Okay. So if you guys don't know, if you guys been living under a rock, which is probably none of you. Okay. So Mr. So essentially, let's put it this way. So Australis applied for an emergency sub because they dropped Bro and picked up Cadian, and they said that Bro was unwell and stuff like that. So they picked up, they try to do that in. And obviously, you guys don't know, Blast and Australis are quite close. I think they're owned by similar orgs or owned by like associates and whatnot. And they got Cadian to sign in. Okay. Now the uproar isn't really about, that happening in particular. It is about that being used against teams previously where like teams couldn't get their new roster in because they were declined by Blast and the emergency sub rules in particular. Like where teams have to play with their coach, for example, with G2 having to play with Taz instead of Monacy and stuff like that. Where like similar scenarios where they dropped a player off the roster, they weren't allowed to switch that roster with someone else in particular because they said the player was healthy or whatever. Or, due to rules or whatever. And I've got to say, Blast couldn't have done this at a worse time, given that there's going to be heavy competition between the tournament organizers next year.
Yeah, I agree. And Bro wasn't even sick. I know that if I was sick, I wouldn't be playing 11 Face It matches the day before. That's all I'm saying.
It was sick with CS2 addiction, mate. What are you talking about?
Yes. That counts, yeah.
I'm trying to think of the other ones as well, because I know FaZe had to have a stand-in as well, and also another team had to have a stand-in. And I think FaZe was also a similar situation as well, where like they had someone who was healthy, they could have come in and subbed in as well, and they really stuck it to the roster rules. I'm going to say overall, this looks really bad for Blast, because A, they're closely associated with Astralis, and B, the amount of other times that they've denied teams on a similar basis just shows a lot of inconsistency in their thing as well. And I don't have anything against Cadian or a lot of the players of Astralis, but with Blast, this is like your flashpoint moment where you make a monumental fuck up that you may not recover from. Now, if you guys don't know the Flashpoint one, Flashpoint made that infamous 40% packer loss decision against Illuminaire, I believe, or was it? It was a NIP versus a Polish team, and they made them replay the game. No, it was a Anonymo, that's right. And they made them replay that game where NIP won 2-1 in the end after Anonymo beat them 2-1. And that basically pretty much killed Flashpoint because everyone was like, well, we know if Anonymo had that, you wouldn't have changed the game, but because it's NIP, that's why you changed it, kind of thing.
Yeah. And like, as you said, next year, for the first time in forever, teams are actually going to get to choose which tournaments they participate in, right?
Yep.
They're going to have invites from like multiple like tournament organizers at the same time, so they're going to have to pick and choose.
Yeah, so actually,
and obviously,
actually brings the question: is Blast going to be doing it next year if they make a move like this? Because making a move like this is basically effectively shooting yourself in the foot for some short-term gain for long-term pain.
yeah.
Like, are they actually going to be in the tournament circuit next year? Well, they have to announce by now anyway. It's an interesting one altogether. Because I'm just sitting here going like, I think Blast have announced actually, but it's just like now you're hurting your franchise because people might go to like a different TO where they're going to be more flexible, like PGL, Star Ladder, ESL, any of those tournaments in particular. And obviously, there's no agreements anymore. So, as you said, teams can just pick and choose. And you've already seen PGL giving $450,000 to teams to spend up on like accommodation and whatnot. It's going to be a wild year to make a decision like this, and that pissed off obviously a lot of teams. And Brovid-19 started infecting everyone. You know what the funny thing that came out of it? Did you hear about Chopper in this one?
Where Chopper went in, or
yeah, Chopper went in. Chopper went into the media though. Do you know why? Why?
No, I don't.
Chopper's not on Twitter or Telegram or anything like that, so he didn't know. He was never told.
Okay.
But what were the funniest things out of that in particular? Like the funniest, like excuses and whatnot. Like who were the best teams on faking a sickness? Faking a sick.
I didn't really see the tweets. I think I saw Carrigan mention it, and then that was it for me. And I think I saw Brokey even say, "Oh yeah, I might be a bit sick too." And I thought that was going to be the whole team out for me today, but it didn't happen.
No, the best one was Vitality. Vitality like had a green shade on Apex and red spots like clearly drawn on by paint over him.
Oh, yeah.
And I've got I think I'm feeling a bit sick today. And I've responded like the day after the event when Vitality won a game, like, oh, it's good to see that Apex isn't dark green and red dots anymore. But overall, I think it was like kind of serious for TOs in particular. Like, guys, like as a TO, you can't like as an admin in particular as well. Like your rulebook's got to be consistent as hell. Like you got to be very, very consistent with your rulebook. Otherwise, the first thing that's going to be in players' heads is that you seem to favor a certain team, okay? And if they think it like that and they see that team in the competition, they're going to be like, oh, no, we don't like these admins. These admins will always rule for this team generally. We can go to another TO where they, don't play favorites, basically.
Funnily enough, with the Tarkov Arena stuff, I've actually dealt with a bit of that already with the making of the rule books and everything. So I definitely understand the need for that.
I did get a gist of that drama in particularly, or no, actually that was with Valorant. Okay, it was a Valorant scrimming scene where like the admins were like saying they could play top teams and they were being inconsistent. It was like a crazy like. God, I just give up when looking at that scene. But I was sitting there going, guys, this is when Discord admin powers runs to your head, or Reddit moderated power runs to your head too much.
Yeah.
But overall, as I said, like, the Blast they couldn't risk this. Like, I think it's a poor move from Blast. ESL, PGL, Star Ladder, Perfect World, every org in particular is just licking their lips at this because they know that they don't have to beat some TOs at offering because they can be like, oh yeah, our rulebook is consistent. We're not gonna, play favorites and teams might come in.
Yeah.
And any more things on the situation like with Astralis? Obviously, they got their comeuppance by getting straight up eliminated, but still qualify for the World Finals anyway.
Yeah. I guess I mean, overall, I think Cadian will be a solid member for them. I don't agree with the emergency sub situation and everything that happened, but I think this is a good move for Astralis overall. I think it'll be interesting to see them in the coming months, hopefully, but we'll see.
Yeah, I gotta say the store and Yabby stuff. You can see how much like the narrative stuff has taken over of the scene because everyone thinks like those three are never going to work together. But we'll see what happens. Overall, I'd say Astralis lose like an anchor player that's willing to do those support roles like often as hell. Is Caden going to be able to do those support roles that Bro does? Because Bro was very successful at Monty, and that Monty team was really, really good when he was in it before they got picked for parts. So I'm kind of a wait and see in Astralis. They've always been on the outside of the top 10, but never inside of it because they just lack the polish and the finishing blows. I mean, they did dismantle Rooster, but Rooster was just walking into a Storm Yabby crossfire, and I'm just like, well, you deserve to die.
Yeah.
So that didn't help too much in particular. And like I say, that's pretty much it for the podcast. We discussed a lot of the events and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it's been a ESL Challenger Atlanta. I'll be doing that later today, like co-streaming it.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I gotta say with ESL, I should actually give them a bit of a shout out for this as well. They've been actually really good with the tournament scheduling because I know a lot of people have been complaining about it recently. At the tournament scheduling for like ESL and stuff like that, they've been putting on games at really bad prime times.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like they would put the best European games on in the morning for Europe, and it's just like, bro, come on, you don't put G2 and FaZe in the morning. You put them in the afternoon where people are back from work.
Yeah.
And they've been paying a lot of attention to it because Lurpus, i.e. Tommy, if you don't know who he is, he's the owner of Ents, basically. Or I think he's the owner of Ents, but he does a lot of esports management. He crowed on about this a lot. And now they're giving the Australian teams a lot earlier slots. And they're also giving
like
a lot
9:30, 10:30.
Yeah, exactly. And they're also giving as well, like a lot of the later slots for NA, like you know, obviously NA and EU. So EU is like the middle slot, then NA is the end slot. So like players can watch their teams and their viewership can get up. And I guess it's been a big issue for a while where like TOs don't really pay attention to their viewership. Okay, they just put games wherever it is and that's it. They don't think about commerciality of it, the sustainability of it, or anything like that as well. They think like money is going to flow forever, basically, kind of thing. They don't really build a product.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just feel like it's ESL really paying attention to that. Do you think it's because of next year? Do you think it's because of Blast and all other TOs coming in? Or is it because they've realized that since they're now on the Saudi money, that this could go away and there's nothing else? Like there's no sponsor going to come in and splurge this amount of money.
Yeah, I definitely think they've been. I mean, I don't know who's making the decisions, but I definitely think they've been trying to match the timelines up with the regions lately, because I have been able to catch a lot of the FlyQuest and like overseas teams play. I don't know whether that's a conscious decision or not, but if it is, it's probably smart because viewership will go up. Just like it's a quid pro quo, right? Like we get to watch the matches and then they get higher viewership. Like that's just what it is. It just seems like a no-brainer. So I hope that they're doing it consciously instead of just like it's a coincidence. But you know, if they aren't, they aren't. You know, it's just one of those things. I would hope that with more competition coming in, ESL's kind of been the big dog for a while. Hopefully with PGL and Starlighter coming in next year, bigger and better, they start. I don't know. Being a bit better. I don't think they're necessarily bad. They're not necessarily bad.
Yeah, as you said, more conscious of the time zones and time slots where they put teams and whatnot, where like they'll try to accommodate it as best they can, as well as matching of integrity. Like, of course, like it's a hard thing balancing commerciality and integrity in your competitions in particular. And you can see this here with Blast, okay? Because obviously Astralis and them are pretty close. And they went over that integrity line for commerciality purposes because they want Astralis to do well, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways.
We'll see.
We'll basically see, man. Anyways, thanks for coming on, dude. And it's good to chat to you about the Bardolphs and whatnot and your thoughts in particular. And, hope to see you back in the future. Or if not, wish you all the best in Tarkov Arena. Like, Australian esports is all good. And hopefully,
I'll be around.
Hopefully you get to meet the big man, James Bardolph himself, okay? When he comes to Australia, because you guys deserve it for the amount of effort you guys put in to promote that sort of brand and to really reach out to the person as well. And really to get him to promoting your stuff as well. Like, it's really difficult to, like, enroll someone in your possibility and in your project kind of thing as well. especially when they don't see like a potential material benefit out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going away completely. I'll be around behind the scenes with different orgs helping out.
Mhm.
Won't be publicized, but I'll be around. And yeah, thanks for having me tonight. It's been really good talking to you. Explaining the origin of the Bardolphs is probably good. I'll reference this every time someone asks, "Oh, why the name Bardolphs? Why did you?" Why? And I'm like, "Ah, here you go. Here's an hour-long podcast of
No, don't.
exactly why."
I put timestamps on where it goes and when the conversations start. And I think I have got the
Okay.
yeah. Do that in particular. Not every single topic because that'll be too difficult. It'll take me years to upload any. But yeah, thanks for coming on, and also going through to Atlanta as well. And also, I know you're gonna be back eventually, but I'm saying just good luck up for it. And yeah, have a great evening. See you later, man.
Thanks, man.